to the program. I've accumulated the questions and partitioned them into 4 different sections. The first is on metals. The next one is on energy. Then we have questions about mining companies. And finally, some questions about investing and sort of global macro questions. So let's start with the first question, which is part of the metals question. When will we finally see gold and silver go Bitcoin?
I think never. Bitcoin was untied to any reality, and since nobody owned it, there were no sellers. The closest I think we'll come to that was 40 or so years ago in the early 1970s, when gold had very few owners and many people wanted to own it after it became legalized. So the idea, I think, that gold and silver go absolutely hyperbolic or parabolic isn't something that I think is going to occur. That doesn't mean that people shouldn't own precious metals for either of the 2 primary reasons why people own investments: fear and greed. I personally own gold as opposed to gold stocks, which I also own, but I personally own gold as a consequence of my own personal need for insurance in my portfolio. Gold has been insurance really through millennia against what I would describe as socially induced catastrophes. And history, of course, has had plenty of those. That isn't to say that when the gold market moves, or more importantly, when the silver market moves, that it doesn't give you the opportunity to make really extraordinary speculative profits. But I think the suggestion that gold would emulate Bitcoin and go from, say, $10 to $20,000 and do that in 24 months is an unfounded hope by a sort of a deranged speculator base.
Perhaps. I think the more accurate point is that gold already went Bitcoin, and silver did at some point, because what we're looking at is the evolution of a new money.
That's correct.
So gold and silver have already traversed that path. The question that you would want to ask then is, when does Bitcoin go gold? Meaning, when does it stabilize into a reliable form of savings and currency without the wild fluctuations?
That's an interesting question. It's above my pay grade. Bitcoin right now is a sort of a trading instrument. It is not yet a medium of exchange. People are afraid to use it as a medium of exchange because it's so volatile. 6 months ago, nobody felt like they could afford to buy anything with it because they were afraid its price was going to go up, which would make whatever they bought with it extraordinarily expensive. Over time, as you suggest, I think it'll begin to trade based on its utility, on the benefit that it offers up to users. And I think at that point in time it will be mature, and probably by the standards of many people who are interested in it today, extraordinarily boring.